It has saved many a thousand. Well, get on board, and it will save many more thousand. It will save many more thousand. It will save many more thousand. Well, get on board, get on board.
They had a time organizing here in Dallas, so, see, I came in on the good part of it. Nardis opened up, that used to be a sewing room. I don't know whether you know anything about that or not, but the government would hire women to work on garments for the soldiers. And that's where we opened up, Nardis opened up this factory was where this particular thing, so it was doing right after the war. We had a segregated shop because this was all Negroes. That was Nardis number 2. Nardis number 1 was the whites, and Nardis number 2 was the colored. And of course, I was president over the colored women.
We got a call from the colored shop at Nardis, and we didn't know what had happened. Mr. James just said that Olivia had told him he was secondary and that some of the girls had knives. And so we went down there, and he had gone to Olivia with some complaint against somebody, and he was using a lot of bad language and everything, and Olivia had merely said to him, "Mr. James, go away. That's all secondary to me."
I was fired on that particular job. And of course, that's when the union stepped in. And I was fired because for being, they say it, insubordinate, because I didn't appreciate what the forewoman was doing. And I told her so, and I was called into the office. And this particular manager was named James. I never will forget it. And of course, we had a heated argument, and he took up the mat on his piece of iron that I guess it must have been something to hold the books down, and he threw it, on the floor and cursed. And I told him, I said, that doesn't excite me, just since you don't hit me with it, that's all.
Well, it was sort of like walking into a mob scene or something. Everybody was on their feet. Some people were crying. Some people were upset with Mr. James's language. Some of our people were using language. And it was, I guess, right close to being a riot.
So anyway, he fired me, but I lost a day. And I was back at work the next day. And I didn't want to go back because I felt like that he would be picking at me, always having trouble. But I can truthfully say, whatever Pearlstein told him, I had no more trouble out of him. And I was right back in my same position. As near as I can remember, my father was foreman of the compress in Natchitoches, Louisiana. That's where I was born. And he had a very nice job. And now this might had some bearing on it because people depended on him. They would come to him for different things that would go wrong and all. And I can remember that they had a terrible explosion when I was quite young there. And we thought for a long time that my father had been injured seriously, but he was trying to get the other men out and all, and he wasn't injured at all, but it was something that happened that he had been telling them that this particular thing would happen, because, but they didn't go into it, and they kept letting him use this old press. And if you ever know anything about a compress, you know you press the cotton with this machine, this level. Well, something was wrong with it, and he'd warned them about it, and they didn't do anything about it. And that could have been, because it did stay in my mind, why couldn't they have listened to him, and so many men wouldn't have been hurt. Nobody died, but quite a few of them. And that might have been my first experience of knowing that if you'd had someone to go to explain that and take that up with, well, then maybe these men wouldn't have been hurt. So that could have been. I met my husband, and let me see, I met him in 26, because we went together a short time and we were married.
And so was he involved with the union? How did he become involved?
He was union-minded, but of course at the time that we married, they had to send their little fee. Ethel Randolph was trying to get them organized, and they would have to send, I can remember, it was $1.50 a month. And if Furno, that was the superintendent here at that time, if they found out that these men were sending the money to Chicago to help Randolph fight for their, trying to get organized, well, then they'd lose their job. So I was very concerned, and I would tell him, honey, be careful, and because at that time they had what they call stool pigeons. That's, oh, I don't know, we usually call them Uncle Toms, you know, that would go back to the white man and tell everything, you know. Some porters that couldn't see the union. And if we could get the wives in to the ladies' auxiliary, then that would be a stepping stone to get the husbands, because naturally the wife could do more with, so that was our way of getting into that home, is to get the wife into the ladies' auxiliary. Then, of course, she would talk to her husband and all. And believe it or not, I have really instigated in getting a good many porters. I used to go, my husband was secretary-treasurer at the time, and I'd go down to collect the money on paydays for their dues. And I would always talk the union, you know, and then sometimes I'd have an audience, you know, and down at the Union Station here. And a lot of men have changed their mind about it and come on into the union.
You gotta go down and join the union. Join the union. You gotta join and by yourself. Why nobody else can join it for you. Join it for you. Gotta go down and join the union by yourself.
Black women experienced a kind of second emancipation as the war's intensive labor demands opened up manufacturing jobs. Over 400,000 black women left domestic work for skilled positions. In all, the number of black women working in manufacturing nearly tripled during World War II.
J. Bernard Gould opened up this factory to train Negro women on power machines. And when I started to work there, I worked for 35 cents an hour to learn the trade, and a lot of us did that. He really took so many of the colored women out of kitchens and doing domestic work. And when we learned the skill of being a machine operator, then we started making money. We did mostly piecework. And of course, you always had these forewomen that sometimes you'd have trouble with because they were human beings too, and they had people that they liked better than they did someone else. And of course, doing piecework, well, then naturally they would throw the best work to the people that they liked the best, you know. And of course, that's where the forewomen or the president of the local came in, because we couldn't have that. You just couldn't do it openly, because everybody, you were on a job, you were there to make a living, and everyone was supposed to be treated fairly. Yes, yes, we had no black folder women. We had black bundle girls that would bring the bundles, and but no black forewomen at all. Me being an officer of the union, I would always, when we had our round table discussions, I would always tell the girls that they would complain about getting so much work back, you know, and I would say, dear, always remember this: you've got to be better than good, because frankly, you know, black woman had two strikes against her when she was born in the world, and she's had to really work very hard to get anywhere in life.
Mama's gotta go down and join the union. Join the union. She's gotta join it by herself. But nobody else can join it for her. Join it for her. She's gotta go down and join the union by herself.
We were very fortunate. We had a closed shop. That's the thing that Texas doesn't want to go for. But you just had to belong to the union to work in our shop. And I'll tell you another thing. If you didn't join the union, you know, people that's union-minded and know what the union stands for, they have no respect for a scab. I still don't have any respect for scabs. And we had some union members that wouldn't go to meeting. They were scabby. It was in their blood, you know, and they wouldn't go to meetings, but by being a closed shop, they had to help carry the load, which made it very nice. I'm all in for closed shops.